Just how we planned our micro wedding. Like 10,000 was the limit. So we talked about kind of defining your budget, defining your number of people. Okay, I think I put way too much for essentially like doing it on a budget. Like, I know it's weird to like go against the grain and to do something that like most people aren't doing. Hey, hi, hello, and welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we are going to do a couple things. So I am going to test out some makeup products that I got because I am going to do my own makeup on my wedding day. My little sister is going to help with the eyeshadow and the false lashes, so I won't do that today. But everything else, I got some really fun products all from like the Shelby Ann makeup that she's been doing lately. So I'm mixing in some of her products with some products that I already had. And then we are going to talk about how I planned my micro wedding. And this is just going to be a little video to see if that's something that you want to do. And if you do want to do it, how to kind of like get started with it. I knew probably before we got married that I wanted to do a micro wedding. And I've been wanting to make a video for a while now about how we micro planned our wedding, and if anybody else is interested in doing that, kind of just sharing like tips and tricks and like the flow of how we essentially planned the wedding, so that if anybody else is interested, they can hopefully find this video and use some of the tips and tricks and just some of the things that we utilized. Also, very new to this, so if this video is like all over the place and like doesn't make sense and I'm yapping about things that don't make sense, just know that I'm new to all this fun stuff. But I have been having a blast vlogging lately, so I just kind of wanted to do it for fun. Anyways, before I forget, my name's Gracie and I'm 25. As I said, I get married in literally just a couple weeks to my fiance Colby. We're so excited. I'm going to kind of talk about what we're doing in just a few minutes. But I work an 8-to-5 job in local government. I love crafting and puzzles, going to Disney, so I always have my Disney gear on, and surprisingly enough, I have a t-shirt, Disney t-shirt on underneath this. But I thought it was perfect to wear my little love Mickey and Minnie talking about wedding stuff. I have a little sister. She and I are very close. I live in Georgia. And yeah, that's just a little bit about me, but let's get into it. So the first thing in the makeup routine, and this could be out of order and wrong, so like don't 1000% quote me. So I did buy this, the like milky toner, because I did not have it. But she says to go in with this first, and because skin prep is like the most important part. And then I also did not have the e.l.f. like hydrating drops. Probably won't focus, but there they are, the little hydrating drops. And they are very generous. She's very generous when she puts all this stuff on. Also, is this bottle glass? Wow, okay, there it is. And then this product I did already have, which is the e.l.f. Skin like Whoa Glow like sunscreen that she uses to like help with the prep. And then she uses like a True Match foundation or just other miscellaneous foundations, but I have always used the Tarte Shape Tape foundation, so that's what I'm going to use today for the like prep and then base layer. And then she goes in with like 2 different concealers, but I have pretty fair skin, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go with my usual concealer, which is L'Oreal True Match. I kind of outlined a few different things that I wanted to touch on and talk about. So the first thing, just how we planned our micro wedding, and then why we wanted to do it this way. So I am probably going to yap for like ever, so please like set this up while you're doing a craft, a puzzle, or working or anything like that, because we're going to be yapping. But why we wanted to do it this way. So also, before I start yapping about all things wedding, I do want to preface and say that your wedding day is like, the choices and what you want is like 1000% up to you and your partner. So how we are doing it and how I'm going to talk about how we did things is how me and Colby wanted it. And we both are very happy with how things are turning out. However you want to do it is going to be beautiful in its own way. This is just how we wanted to do it. So why we wanted to do it this way. So forever and ever, I feel like girls are always like, wedding day is like the biggest day of the year, or not biggest moment and day of your life. And so I feel like we've always been taught that it needs to be this like huge, a huge event. But I have never really been one of those girls that like dreams about her wedding day. I also put way too much of this stuff on, so that's fun. I should have got a towel. But I have never really been one of those girls that like dreamed about her wedding day, which is fun. And the girls that do dream about that, that's wonderful. Like, that's your thing. Okay, I had to get a towel because I was way too generous with the Milky Hydrating Toner. I always knew that I wanted to do something small and something very intimate and very low-key. I'm kind of a low-key person. Everybody kind of who knows me kind of assumed that I was going to do something small and just something very intimate, which is exactly what we're doing. But also Colby is in the same way. We're both very like chill. We don't really want like, I don't know how to like say this, but like we're just like, we're not like attention, like we don't want attention on us all the time. And so we just knew going in that if we did get married, we wanted something pretty small. Now we kind of talked about like destination wedding, which kind of what we're doing is destination, but I feel like when you think of a destination wedding, you think of somewhere like tropical or like somewhere in Europe or anywhere, any place like that. But ours is kind of destination because we got a Airbnb. And I had seen people like do this on TikTok and stuff. And so when I saw people doing this, I was like, whoa, that is so smart. And like you have everybody in the same place. It you know, doubles as a place to stay, which is so awesome. But I was just like, that is like also like best bang for your buck, because why are wedding venues so expensive? What in the world? So the fact that an Airbnb could be the venue space, a place for people to stay, and it's not just one day, it's a like weekend affair, which was something that I like really wanted. And I know like that the wedding industry is very expensive, but I myself, like this is my own opinion, I sometimes have a hard time paying a ton of money for like one day or for like a few hours. Like just me personally, I had a really hard time justifying that. So the fact that this is like a weekend that we're doing really just made it better, I guess you could say. Anyways, I guess I should say what we're doing. But essentially we rented an Airbnb VRBO, and we are having some family and friends stay with us. And then there are some other Airbnbs near that one that some of my other friends are planning on renting and such. And so it is just going to be a fun weekend of hanging out, just good vibes, just literally soaking in like people's time. We're very grateful and blessed that a lot of people are traveling to Tennessee, which is where we're getting married, traveling to see us get married, which is so kind. Like literally our friends from Hawaii. I have family and friends in San Diego. My dad's family is from Albuquerque. So they are all literally flying in just to see us get married, which is so, like, just so kind. And all of our friends are in like Southeast Georgia, and they're driving up. It's like a 7-hour drive for them. So that is just literally so wonderful. Okay, sorry, I can yap a lot and get really off topic. So let me get back on topic here. But that is essentially what we are doing. That is what our weekend's gonna look like. So we're gonna be there. We have the VRBO Thursday to Monday. So we'll be there with a few people Thursday, and then Friday most people will be in the area. So Friday we're doing like a huge backyard barbecue. Not huge. It's just gonna be like hot dogs, hamburgers, chips, s'mores, games, vibes, just literally hanging out. And then Saturday will be all of the wedding stuff, and then Sunday most people will be going home, but we'll be staying around with some of our family Sunday and Monday, and then we'll head back Monday. So if you were wanting to do something like this, the first thing or step that I would do is to like talk to your partner and kind of like define what that looks like. Like a micro wedding technically by definition is like 50 people or less, which is still like a pretty, 50 people, like that is still solid. Like that is a solid number. Personally, when I think about a micro wedding, like I think about like 25, 35 people. And I would say like an elopement, obviously like textbook terminology is like an elopement is you and your partner and like a witness. But I feel like elopement ceremonies are becoming more of a thing, and so like and that to me is like 10, maybe like 10, 15 people, and I feel like that is literally like your family and like maybe your closest friends. But that is like definitions to me. So I would say the first thing that you should do, obviously talk to your partner and figure out like what you guys want. Like, is that is a micro wedding to you like 50 people? Is that 30 people? And I think that honestly is like the next thing. Like, how many people do you want, or how many people are you thinking? Or go ahead and like make your list of potential people. And then, you know, if you're kind of like, you know, if you got a lot of people on your list, like you can kind of either narrow it down to fit either that 50 or the 30. But I think like honestly, being able to decide how many people right off the bat you're thinking is going to really, really help you in the long run. Because when I first was doing it, I was like, it'll be like 20 people. And I was like, you know, like no more than that. Well, later it ended up being the total is 36, and I just did not prepare the best way for that, because I was like, not everybody that we're going to invite is going to come. No, everybody that we invited is going to come, which is literally so amazing, and I'm literally like so lucky and blessed. But sometimes in the wedding industry, like they tell you that, like, I guess it's more for like bigger weddings, but like a percentage of your guest list, you know, won't come, won't show. So be prepared for that. And then like a percentage of people will come, but they won't RSVP and all that fun stuff. So we did not hire a wedding planner. I used, well, for work, I would host events, and then my family has been actually in the event industry before. So we were kind of just like, we got this. Like, we don't need to hire anybody to help, because between me, my mom, and my sister, we should be covered and have everything under control. And we do, and that was a smart move on our part. Anyways, so first step, define your number of people. And then I think once you define your number of people, that's gonna help you define like your budget. I will say, like, Colby and I did not have like a strict budget, but I was really hopeful about keeping our wedding to like 5,000 if possible. Like, that was my goal. So I mean, we didn't have like a strict budget, but I guess we had like defined parameters. And I would say, like, I literally told myself, and I was like, this will not cost more than $10,000. Like, that was my kind of hard stop. Like 10,000 was the limit. And thankfully I don't know the exact total. I guess I could like tally that up later and get it, but I think we're gonna be in the 7,000 range, and that's from like dress, that's gonna be like the rental, the food, any like major costs like that. I think we're gonna be right in that sweet spot of maybe like 7,000-8,000. And I will say, we are very, very lucky and blessed to have like our family, that my family as well as his family, that are helping contribute to our wedding costs. So, and we are also putting in some money as well. So this is not something that we're paying on our own. We are very, very lucky and blessed to just have family that wants to contribute. So they have helped us a lot. My parents paid for my dress. I might do another video later talking about like our actual cost breakdown and kind of like where we saved money and where we kind of splurged a little bit. So, but that will come probably later. I've been trying to do like other just wedding content and such. So I did like a wedding dress shopping video, and then I've got like my wedding shower video, and then I did something else, or like our engagement pictures. So I've been trying to just do like fun wedding content, and you only get married once, so YOLO. Anyways, you see how quickly I can get off topic. So we talked about kind of defining your budget, defining your number of people. And then once you're kind of thinking about your people and your budget, I think that's where you can really like define your priorities, like you and your partner. Like really thinking about, you know, what is like most important to you. Like, for example, is that photos? Is that flowers? Is that the dress? Like, you know, is that, oh, I almost dropped the concealer and it would have got all over me. That would have been so awful. Like really thinking about your priorities, planning out your little like Pinterest board of, you know, what you want, and like, you know, what your partner wants. I know like most men don't have a lot in the planning process, but if there is something that they are like, I want this, like, let it be known now. Colby was kind of like, you know, essentially whatever you want. And I was like, but Colby, this is your day too. Like, I want to do what you want. And he was just like, he didn't really have much like special requests, but really just like keeping it small and keeping it intimate was really both of our kind of like big requests. But for me, Colby knows that like photos are a big deal for me, so that was definitely something that we splurged on. Flowers I don't care about as much, so that was something that I know is a pretty hefty cost in the wedding industry, and that was something that we just did not really splurge on. We literally only got like a bouquet, 2 bouquets, and like their little boutonnieres. I would say our other like really big cost was the food, or is the food, but I'll get into it in a few minutes. But our food is really like the main part of our reception, so that was kind of why we went a little bit more on the food side. My dress was a hot topic for a minute. Not really. Again, like, never really dreamed about getting married, so like the like whole wedding dress shopping, really I wasn't like something I need to do. But ultimately my mom was like, Gracie, you really need to do this. Like, you should really do this. Because I was just gonna order something online. Like, that's how nonchalant I was about a lot of this. And not because I didn't care, but I was just like, it's one dress that I'm gonna wear one time. And like, I just was always confused about why people made like such a big deal out of it. And my mom was really chill, because she was like, it just like, you know, if you don't want to wear white, wear whatever you want, like black, blue, like whatever, but let's just go to a store and try some dresses on. And I was like, okay mom, you win. Okay, so but ultimately at the end of the day I was really glad that I did that, and I was very happy with the dress that I picked. And it was a little bit more than I was wanting to pay, but thankfully my parents bought that for me, and I'm very lucky that they wanted to do that for me. My camera battery's about to die, so I'm gonna replace that, and I'll be right back. Before we get into the next bullet point, I'm gonna on my phone here, I got my notes on my phone here, I'm gonna do the next little bit of the makeup routine. So now this, okay, so this was something I got from her suggestions, which it was the like Milani cream bronzer. Now I will say, I have never worked with the cream products before. This would be my first time, so I also got the like e.l.f. liquid blush, which was another thing that was from her routine. And so I'm a little bit anxious to use the liquid, or the like cream one, the liquid blush and this cream bronzer. I don't even have the like appropriate brushes for this. I need to actually go to Ulta or Target and get some things, and so I was planning to get the right brushes then, but I have this little, it's like a circle, again, not I don't think what you're supposed to use, but we're gonna run it and see. So this is probably gonna be really hectic for the next few minutes, so maybe I should like really lock in and do this really quick, and then I'll come back to the pink. Okay. Oh, I'm scared. Maybe, I don't know if I want to use this brush, or if I should use my bronzer brush, but I don't know if you're supposed to mix the powder and the cream. I'm stressed. Okay, I think I put way too much. It's fine. It's fine. We'll blend it out in a minute. Holy jeez. Okay, don't judge me. Don't judge me. Wait, how do you blend this out? Wait, I didn't watch that part in the routine. Obviously, I don't do my makeup that regularly, so here we are. But it's fine. I think it's kind of blending better. Good now. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. That was slightly stressful for a second. Okay, I can work with that. That doesn't look bad. Okay. So, next, micro wedding planning. So the next thing is venue. So once you kind of can define how many people you want, what your budget looks like, and your priorities, I think that's kind of where your venue is going to come into play, because if you don't know how many people, it's going to be really hard to choose a place or a venue. I think with that, like, when you're defining your priorities, I think that's kind of when you build out your vision board and you know what time of year is that, what season is it, you know, do you want a Christmas wedding, do you want a summer wedding? I think that is also going to help define your venue. For us, we personally did not have a pretty big preference about the time of year. We got engaged in September, and so we were just like, oh, a year from now we'll just get married. So that was kind of why we picked September. But it's kind of like that in-between month, like after summer, before realistically like huge fall. So we thought it would kind of be a good time. Back to your venue. So it can be an Airbnb. Airbnb is a little bit harder if you're doing, like, we have 30 people, so it was a little bit harder to find places on Airbnb. I would suggest VRBO if you are wanting to have about 25 to 30 people, because on VRBO, if I don't even know if I'm saying that right, Verbo, VRBO, however you say it, on there you can filter if the host of the property lets you host events. And that is a really, really good way to just filter through and look at the ones that are going to allow you to have a small get-together on their property. Airbnb, you cannot do that, but on Airbnb, you can search and you can tell like which ones kind of let you have that just based on their pictures. So when I was looking, there was a property that was very beautiful, and it literally had like tables and chairs set up kind of like a wedding setup, and you just knew from that they host weddings. So I reached out to her and I asked, and it was an additional charge on top of the rental of the property. So that could be like a hidden charge that you definitely just want to look for. Again, when I did VRBO, there was no additional charge for a get together at their property. The properties that I was looking at did already sleep about 20 to 25 people. So the property owners knew that there was going to be like a lot of people just because it sleeps so many, but we did let them know that we were going to have a small get together. Like, if you are going to go the Airbnb VRBO route, those are just some tips and tricks from my perspective. You can also, you know, if you have a friend who has like an amazing backyard, you know, backyard weddings are beautiful. My biggest thing was like looking for a nice outdoor area, particularly having a place that could sleep so many people. Those were kind of my two things that I was very particular on when I was searching for a place. And so I started in North Georgia. I found a lot of beautiful properties, but it was just not what I was looking for. And then I kind of opened up the search a little bit more to like North Carolina, and then ended up kind of opening it up to Tennessee. And Tennessee was really where I found a couple properties that were really amazing. And that was kind of why we picked. So like people are like, why Tennessee? Like, why did you pick Tennessee? And it literally is because I found the VRBO of our dreams. Now, the only hope is that it looks like the pictures when we get there. So that can be kind of a stressful thing. Like, we have not laid eyes on the property until our booking is on Thursday. So for some brides and some families, like that can be extremely stressful, not being able to see the property beforehand. Like most venues, you can tour and you tour it before, you tour it before you book and all that good stuff. And so here I'm just, you know, I'm just praying that it's gonna be fine. But I will say a lot of the reviews that I saw said that this property looked exactly like it did in the pictures. Like literally every single review said that. So I was like, okay, we're fine. Like, also at the end of the day, like me and Colby just want to marry each other around some of our favorite people, and it's just a day about our love. So like if things don't work out, it's gonna be okay. And I think that's like kind of the best outlook that we could have, because it really just, you know, yeah, everything could go south very quickly, but it's okay because we're here to just celebrate our love and each other. So that has really helped take like a lot of stress off of not being able to see things and not being able to control various things. So anyways, backyard, another great option. I get sidetracked real quick around here. And then you can also do like national parks or any kind of like state park or a beach. I think some of these do have permits and such, so that would just be something that you would need to look at in advance. Any kind of permits for the park, national parks, state parks, or your like local beaches. I'm not sure about your local beaches, or if you use like a city park or a county park or something. I think some of those do have permits that you would have to complete, so you would just need to kind of look at that depending on where you're from. So before we get to the next little few bullet points, I'm going to attempt, we saw how chaotic that was for the bronzer. I don't even know if it looks good, but this is my first time using cream products, so I'm not too mad. As using this cream camo liquid blush. It is the color Dusty Rose. Okay, again, why didn't I look at how you blend this? I guess like that. Please help in the comments. Am I doing this the right way? I feel like I'm so like last on the cream products. I feel like everybody has been using those for like ever, and here I am literally in 2025 just now using them. Whoops. Okay, I feel like I kind of blended it out too much. I'm not sure. Should I add more? I mean, also, if things just really go awry, I'm very thankful to have a bunch of friends that could probably help me with my makeup. And my little sister is going to do my like eyeshadow and fake eyelashes because I'm terrible at eyeshadow for some reason. Okay, so the next few things are going to be kind of your ceremony and the reception. So really the ceremony is just thinking about like, what does that look like for you and your partner? Like, are you gonna have a very traditional ceremony? Just what does that look like? Like if you're doing a micro wedding, the ceremony is probably gonna look a little bit different. It doesn't have to, but just like if it's a beach, like how is that gonna look? And you know, if it's a park, like what is that gonna look like? A backyard, thankfully, is kind of easy-ish, I feel like, to kind of deal with, but just something to think about. You know, if you are doing a micro wedding, obviously your venue, and then kind of how your ceremony is gonna fit into your venue. I think for a beach, like your ceremony would be at the beach, but then your reception would be somewhere else. Kind of similar for like a national park or a state park, but something to just think about. And then your reception. So for a micro wedding, like your reception, again, like it doesn't have to be the traditional what everybody does. I would say like mine and Colby's wedding is very much reflects me and Colby, and that was exactly what I wanted and like hoped for. So I'm really kind of glad that that is shaping up to be what the day looks like, because Colby and I don't really dance. I have terrible rhythm. Like, I have gotten better over the years, but I literally cannot dance, and it's quite embarrassing. So we just were kind of like, you know, that's not really our thing, so we're not really going to have that. However, we do want to still have a reception. We just want it to look a little bit different. And so because of that, we wanted our reception to be something fun and to be something low-key, but that was like entertaining. So this kind of pairs with our food, and why we're splurging a little bit on the food is because we were gonna do backyard hibachi, and Colby and I love hibachi, and we were like, this is the perfect like entertainment reception activity that, you know, people can still dance if they want. Like, we're gonna have a speaker with like some music, and like we're gonna make playlists, like we're gonna be our own DJs. So like dancing, like, yes, is encouraged, but it's not like the sole purpose of the night, of the reception. Does that make sense? So that was something that I am like so excited for. And again, it's your wedding day, so you can kind of like do whatever you want. Like, I know it's weird to like go against the grain and to do something that like most people aren't doing, but like I am so looking forward to the backyard hibachi. I think it's gonna be so fun. So that's literally our reception, and then we're gonna play games and hang out, and like we're not doing a wedding cake, and we're gonna do a cookie bar and like a ice cream sundae bar, because we love ice cream and cookies. So, and like that is uniquely me and Colby. And so that's what I mean by like, you can just tell that it's very much our thing. We didn't have like huge ties to the traditional aspects of a wedding. So we were like, you know, 86 the wedding cake, 86 the dancing. What else traditional? We're gonna like not get ready together, but we're gonna do like private vows, which I know that's not like, I know that's more of a normal thing for people to do lately, but we're gonna do private vows in the morning. So anyways, we're very excited. So the next thing on my little list here is, you know, just some tips, and I think I just kind of touched on it. Like, make it what you want, like authentically yours. Like, it's your choice. And I know it can be hard if like, you know, multiple families are you know, helping pay for things. And so that kind of makes it feel like, well, they should have a decision because they're paying for it. And, you know, maybe you're not able to pay for it, so you feel like you need to do what they want. And I think it's just important to like be upfront and to like have those difficult conversations and to just like let people know what you want. Like, and if you don't like it, like speak up. Like, coming from me, that's obviously so hard because I'm such a people pleaser that I'm like, I will let it happen without saying like how I feel. But honestly, like being with Colby has really helped me advocate for myself more and being like, you know, that's a really great idea, but that's not us, or that's not me. And I think it's important to essentially like advocate for yourself and what you want. It's like, it's your choice, it's your day, it's your life, it's your partnership, it's your wedding. So I know that's way harder said than done, but just try to keep that in mind. I got 3 tips here if you're doing like a micro wedding, Airbnb, VRBO style, is to like make it a weekend. I'm so excited for Friday to literally like have all our friends and family there and to just like hang out and play games and like cook s'mores, like eat hot dog hamburgers. We have a huge green space. We're bringing like volleyball, and I am so pumped for Friday. Like, I am very, very much looking forward to Friday. And so just make it a weekend. Like, don't just like put all your eggs in one basket for one day. Like, have fun Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Like, I'm so excited for that. I've said 20,000 times. And then I would say the other tip, 2 other tips, is that realistically, when you're planning your own wedding, you're doing everything, but on the day of your wedding, you don't want to be like orchestrating everybody. Like, as much as I want to do that, like, you want to be present and in the moment. And so I think kind of designating somebody to help the day of, just make sure like people are in order. I know typically that probably feels like it could be the maid of honor, and it very well could be, but I would suggest having someone else to help as well, because we're having a family friend come in. He's gonna stay and everything, but he's gonna kind of help like orchestrate things and help us with like putting out the dessert bar and helping the hibachi people get set up, while my little sister is also helping in different ways because she's my maid of honor. You know, if you're doing a small backyard wedding or a micro wedding, some things I've had to think about is like music. Like, who's gonna click play when I'm walking down the aisle, or like our bridal party, which is just literally my sister as my maid of honor and Colby's brother as his best man, and then our flower girl and ring bearer. But like, who's gonna play the music for them? You know, who's gonna play the music for our first dances? So we're still doing that traditionally, but like, who's gonna play those songs? Like, we don't have a DJ. So thankfully, with a small wedding, like, I imagine the people you're inviting are some of your closest friends. So I don't feel bad like asking. The only time I'm feeling bad about asking somebody is during the ceremony, because like, that is like the moment of the whole wedding, is like the bride coming down the aisle. So I'm having a hard time like figuring out who I'm gonna ask to like press play on the song. So anyways, someone to think about for just like orchestrating things, like very minor things obviously, but still you want to kind of have that designated person that can just help you with various things so that people aren't coming to you for that. This has been the most random video, and I probably have yapped for so long. I don't even know how long this is. We're only halfway through with the makeup routine. Anyways, let's go to the next step of the makeup routine, and then I'll kind of go into some other thoughts in this video. So I do have a really good powder that I like to use, like a loose powder, but I wanted to actually try the L'Oreal Infallible Blurfection powder. This was also something that she suggested in the makeup routine. I say she, but it's Shelby and the makeup routine. So we're gonna test that out. So I put the cream products on, and we're still learning with those. I mean, I guess they look okay, but again, not a professional here, kind of just learning as we go. And it's funny that I'm gonna do my own makeup for my wedding, because I would not consider myself like good at makeup. Like, I can do makeup, like I could do my own makeup good, but I would not be like, oh yeah, I'm a professional at makeup, you know? So I just think it's funny that I'm gonna do my own makeup. Okay, so I got my little, you know, puff thing. It's probably not the cleanest, but so just wanna go in. And then the next thing after this is putting on the powder bronzer and blush, which is what I typically use in my makeup routine, but I have heard that when you layer the products, it helps with the longevity of everything. So we're gonna give that a go. So this is a palette I've had for ages, and dare I say ages. Okay, it's looking up good. I love blush, dare I say. In my everyday routine though, like I'll wear that like bright pink blush, but I would say in my everyday, like I love this like deeper color. I think it's really pretty. Next thing is lip. Oh, well, I'm gonna put, like, on my wedding day, I'm gonna use fake eyelashes, but for the time being, I'm just gonna curl my eyelashes and put a light mascara on, just to, like, complete the look, in a way. I very much want to get married and have a wedding, but I did not want to essentially drop the bag on one day, so that was kind of what inspired me to do, you know, a weekend of fun. But also, I just did not want to spend a ton of money for one day for literally just a few hours. So some of my tips for essentially like doing it on a budget or how to save money is, first, like, obviously once you've defined your priorities, you can kind of use that to help you and your wedding planning, like figure out where you want to cut cost or where you want to splurge. So everybody is going to be different, but I think some things to think about is like the dress. My dress I think was $1,000, which I meant for myself, that was a lot for me to be like, I'm gonna spend $1,000 on a wedding dress I'm gonna wear one time. But I think there are so many really awesome ways that you can, you know, get a wedding dress on a budget. You can do Facebook Marketplace, you can order stuff online. I mean, if you really want, like, you can thrift a wedding dress. I feel like that might be a little bit more difficult, but I think you can even do like consignment for wedding dresses. I'm not sure on that one. Okay, something that's like super trendy that I've been seeing lately is people doing the dress that they switch into after the ceremony. And I'm sorry, to me though, to spend thousands of dollars on a dress, and granted, like, the photographs and the videos are gonna last a lifetime in that dress, but to then change, like, I get it, like dancing and stuff, you probably want something that you can move around in a little bit more. I get it, I get both sides of it, like, truly. But like, it's just crazy to me that people pay, but it's their wedding, they can do what they want, it's their money, like, I should not judge. But for me, I just would not do that. So that, you know, I'm not getting a dress to change into. Also, we're not really dancing, so again, it's not really my place to be like, they shouldn't do that, that's crazy. But I personally will be staying in the one dress, and I think that's kind of a way that you can save a couple $100s, is to not change dresses. Other ways to like save money and like help you do it on a budget is food. Your food doesn't really need to be extreme as like some people act like it needs to be. I think you can do, ooh, I was gonna try and talk and do this, but I don't think I can. I think you can do, like, literally, you can make it so easy and fun. Like, you could do pizza, which I know is not typically what you see at a wedding, but if y'all's favorite meal together is pizza, run it. Like, or barbecue, or, which is easy or easier to do for like large groups of people. You could do tacos, you could do food trucks. Those are like some non-traditional food things that I think would help save a lot more money than doing like a sit-down 4-course dinner. I think too, like the wedding cake. The wedding cake can be expensive, OMG. So if you wanted to do kind of something non-traditional like we're doing the cookies with the ice cream and kind of like an ice cream sundae bar. I think you can save money in that way. I guess it just depends like how much money you want to save. Again, what are your priorities? Like, if you've been dreaming about a wedding cake for your whole life, you spend the money on that wedding cake. Like, that's what you want though. That's your priority. So I think once you, again, establish your priorities, you can kind of see, you know, what can we maybe spend less money on, or what can we splurge on, all that good stuff. To save money essentially is not having a videographer. But because I have been loving to vlog lately, I am going to bring my vlog camera and then essentially just pass the camera around and let people kind of show off the wedding weekend perspective from their eyes. And so I'm very much looking forward to that. I've been seeing it on TikTok lately, and so I've been sending videos to my friends, and I'm like, this is the vibe, guys. This is what we're doing. Colby and I do not drink, and so if people would like to drink at our wedding, then we are encouraging BYOB. We will provide obviously like water and soda and stuff, but if they want beer or liquor or wine, we are encouraging them to bring it themselves. We don't mind that they drink it with or like around us and near us, but we just won't provide it. I'm gonna try and do this really quick, and then we'll literally just have the last little thing, which is the setting spray. But I forgot to say, so the lip is an e.l.f. Cream Glide Lip Liner in the shade Abatis Beige, and then the lipstick is the Fairest Nude, and it's L'Oreal. Okay, well, this lipstick smells funny. I don't know if I like how it smells, but it does look nice on. So that's the lip. I feel like I look so old. Why did that lipstick make me look aged 20 years? The last thing is this Infallible L'Oreal like setting spray. I have heard it smells like hairspray, but dare I say, I love the smell of hairspray. So we're about to run it really quick. Whoa. Oh, it smells good. It does feel like, they said it also like felt like hairspray on your skin, and it does feel like something, but I guess that, it means that it's setting spray. Anyways, okay, here is the, I guess, let me put my hair down. I am gonna curl my hair, or my mom's gonna curl my hair for the wedding. This is really solid makeup, dare I say. I put, I think, a little bit too much blush on my nose. Okay, so here's the final look. I think it kind of looks good. I can work with it for sure. Oh, also another money budget friendly tool, doing your own makeup. Hello. I'm sure I have a lot more other thoughts. Honestly, I have no idea if this video will even see the light of day, because I yapped so much about, I don't even know what. Obviously wedding planning, but I really just need to go back and see if this was even helpful, because I'm not really sure if I conveyed what I wanted. But if you have made it all the way to the end and this video does see the light of day, thank you so much for coming to my TED Talk. Thank you so much truly for watching. Realistically, my goal is to just help anybody who like maybe wanted to do something that we wanted to do. I think there is so much info out there about weddings in general, and I think it's nice to see when people go against the grain and don't do something traditional. And I feel like we aren't doing something super traditional. Like, we are, but we aren't. And so if my video just helps any one single person in any way, it would have conquered what I hoped for. Or not conquered, it would have, what's the word, I don't know, conquered what I had hoped. I don't know. Anyways, realistically, if this video would, if this video just helped one person, then my job here is done, I guess. But at the end of the day, I just have this really awesome memory to look back on from 25-year-old Gracie planning out her wedding, which is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, which is crazy. So again, thank you so much for watching. I would love for you to like, subscribe, you know, leave a comment down below, anything that you thought was helpful. If you have any follow-up questions, anything like that, please let me know. You can obviously reach out to me on YouTube or Instagram. Would love to answer any questions or follow up on anything. I have realistically had a blast wedding planning, and I honestly think it's because of how we're doing it. So happy to help in any way. Again, if you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.